So, sitting back on the deck that Amy and I built, and we built it. We broke ground February 23rd. April 5th was the first day we started smoothing out for the pool. And then after the pool got built, then we started building the deck. So here it is, the end of May. And other than a couple of very small things that I'm going to finish after this Memorial Day weekend, I'm ready to turn this over to its owner because they have parties this weekend, and that has been the push here at the end. So let's go back to February and see where it all started, and we'll go through this build. All right, that has been leveled. So we're all good to go here. We'll put the circle back in, make sure it was 7.5 feet from this post to the edge. Now they are taken apart because right now we are burying these deck blocks, and they have to be level with the ground because that's where these are gonna sit, right on top of those. And so that will hold the weight of the columns that are gonna go up. So we got a few more to do, and we're using these little trowels. All right, right there is my 2-inch mark, which is the same height as this block. I've already scribed around it. Now I get to dig in the ants. So all I'm doing is pushing this until that 2-inch mark, even with the ground. I'll just do that for the whole rectangle. All right, all of the block is down, level with the ground. Next move is going to be get the circle back centered off of that screwdriver. All right, we got the ring back together. And we got it staked with screwdrivers at every section to keep it in place. The next move will be putting up the wall, and that's going to have to be done earlier in the day because of all the steps that need to be done. You have to get the wall up, and then you have to put the post up, and that has to be done so you can go ahead and get the liner put in. But you got things to do before the liner because you have to have water in it so it doesn't collapse. Won't want to deal with that again. Another thing about old trucks I like, you can stick a cereal bowl in the dash. Look at it tilt with the turn. Wouldn't even spill the milk. All right, we got stakes around it and clamps. So as we reel this out, we can clamp it to posts to help hold it. because the wind is supposed to be 3 to 4 miles an hour today, and it feels like it heads on up to more. But it's a beautiful day. I don't want to waste any more time. Here we go. Yeah, we did it. Is it 10 minutes? Was it that long?
Not that.
These posts, these are 2x2s, hammered into the ground, and these clips are essential to keep you from having to have 15 head of people. So if you're putting up one of these pools, this is a Riviera model, we could not get these to line up. So what I had to end up doing was cutting off about 1.5 inches off the bottom of both of these plates here. And when I say the bottom, it's the end that has the 2 holes right beside each other. See how the top doesn't, but the bottom side did. And I had to cut about 1.5 inches off of each one, and then the holes would line up. Because we must have fought this thing for about an hour. Very frustrating when the holes won't line up. But it's all good now. Let me show you the inside. So here is, well, I guess the ground rug. I can't remember what it's called right now. But you lay this down. This is 15 foot. Take your shoes off. And you see all these lines here. This actually has sat in the box for a couple months. So that's the paper that was inside. And maybe where the water had gathered when it rained. So won't be a big deal, it'll be covered up. So now I'm about to grab the Cove, which is in there, and you see that tape right there. That tape is for that seam. We gotta tape it over 3 layers thick. So when putting up your foam Cove, you can see that there's a notch here, and there's a sticky side. Sticky side goes up, notch bridges this here. So you lay it down, just like that. All right, the Cove goes in less than 5 minutes. That's the last piece we did. We had to trim it to fit. All right, next up is this foam here. See, it's not real thick, but that goes on the wall. And so there will be that little bit of foam between the liner and the wall. So to make it a little more soft. And this is adhesive spray. Extra strong. You spray that on there, and then you roll it out. So it got dark on us last night, but I had already put these together, and instructions said 1 screw to hold this on, and they pop in to the bottom there. And actually the lip goes over there. And this is just to give it some stability since we had to leave it overnight. And of course, you know, the wind, they said it was not supposed to be any overnight. And not sure if there was or wasn't. There is a very light breeze right now. You can see, but nothing that I'm worried about. So it survived overnight with the post and with the timbers and the clamps. So now I'm gonna open up this box here and spread out. This is the liner. I'm gonna let the sun warm it up some, make it a little more pliable. Getting it opened up, and go a little further. Go ahead and get it spread across the bottom of this thing. All right, so it's spread out pretty easy. What you gotta do is hold the side and kick that seam right there. It needs to be where that triangle Cove is, and do that all the way around, and do it without shoes on. So now I need the plastic. So when I bring the liner up, we can put the plastic bead up on top. That way it doesn't hold it really tight. And we can start putting some water in. Well, we're filling it with water, and if you didn't have to go to the bathroom, you probably do now. So hit pause, go get some relief. And we'll be right here. All right, so we got black rib is on there. Yeah, there's still a few wrinkles, but it's not like it was, and the water will straighten those. And so then this rail here that keeps the pool round, and you're supposed to have this on before you get over 12 inches. That's about how much we've got in there. Very important, and is to have a mallet. And when you put these joints together, hammer them in. You see how much is sticking out there? Now that was our last one after we took it all back apart. And this is the one next to it. And you see how closed that is? We had to hammer them each in because I thought it was okay to leave that little bit sticking out there, and it was not. And so over the circumference of the pool, left about 6 inches overlap here. And so I had to take this cap back off. Me and Amy had to put it back on and hammer each one in. Very important.
Trophy wives.
Trophy wives, that's right. All right, so here's the where the skimmer goes on the back, and that's the return from the pump. You gotta stop the water 3 inches underneath this, so this can get cut out, and you can put a bulkhead in, and then this can get cut out, and you can put the gasket up, and you can put the skimmer in. So what I've done is I put a piece of tape over here that can be easily seen from the porch over there to know when to stop the water. So I got the hose back in there, and it's run to one of these posts and a clamp. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to back it up. I'm going to try to back it up. All right, there we go. A couple clamps on that post. Gets it about. We'll know to check it once we don't hear this water pouring in anymore. All right, getting these top rails on is a pain. You gotta have this hole open so you can put on these pieces. So you've got some adjustment. You gotta make sure your posts are where you had them originally, and you gotta make sure they're level. So that's a large feat to get to do, especially when you already have water in. But now, you need a 1 inch and 2 1/2 inch. Got those little hooks there. And those little hooks you grab up under, and your hole's exposed. You put this screw in there. All right, so don't torque it down. It needs to be a little loose because this piece here has these edges that needs to slide up under that. And so you don't want to smoke it down, and then you can't get it, the outside piece of the clamshell on. I probably ain't able to do this one-handed, but that's how you do it. And once you get it on, there's these holes on the side, and you're going to screw it into those holes there, and then that post there is in one of those. So I got the return port put in. Sorry I didn't record it, but I remembered to record just as I got done finished cutting this one. And see how I've got that about 3/4 to an inch above, or I guess inside of the hole all the way around. And then the foam I've cut back, so it's a little bit bigger piece. And then X these, so that way that can fold in. Because this is the back side of it, the skimmer basket. And this is the side that faces the pool, and it's got a double gasket there. So I'm gonna have to have both hands to do this next part. All right. What I did is I fed the top 2 corners in, pushed this against there, and then held this up to the back side and started both of those top screws. And that way it would all hang together. And then I added in the bottom 2. Now I'm going to do the rest. This is what you got on the back side. And that little bit of pull liner, I couldn't get it to tuck under. It'll just get trimmed off. The deck wood is here. Had to come down this mile-long driveway. He's gonna give him a little more space here so he can bring this lift right in the gate. Get it, back there's fine. All right, time to squeeze these tabs and get this put in. The foam faces the back. All right, floating doors in. Basket in. We can put that on the top. Wonder what it'll be like in a couple weeks. All right, got strings up, holes augered, and poles in. So the the deck is coming together. They're all pretty tall. These are 12 foots. Ordered 10. I guess they didn't have 10s. I'm going to have to cut some off when I get the handrail height. And then these closest to the pool won't be above it at all. Now we got to get the concrete mixer and get these level and on the wire. All right, got everything lined up on the strings. Got them plumb. Ready to do perimeter framing tomorrow. So here's how I'm gonna mark the posts. So I've got the laser sitting right, I guess it could come up just a little bit more. Doesn't need to be where the string is, it needs to be where the top of that 2x6 is. So I can mark every one of these posts now that it's sun has gone down, and I'll know exactly how level everything will be. I'm so glad I got this laser, and I had it here because the ground is not even all over this place. But I know exactly where my post's got to be. All the way to over there. Okay, so let's see what we're doing here. If you can see those notches there, those notches is where a 2x8 is going to sit. And so we're going to show you how we do those on this one here. Get your favorite hammer, knock the chips out. I think that's my favorite part of doing this style. Give it a claw to that.
Oh, sorry.
After you get them knocked out, get your grinder, and this is a Harbor Freight special. This is a flat disc. Turn it over. See there. It works for wood too. So she's gonna take all this down, and when the lines disappear, it should be at the depth you need, which is 1.5 inches. Great job. So this is why the shoulders are such a great thing. So we just laid this up, put it in the pocket, and then screwed it down. So now the weight will press down on the piece that goes in the ground instead of putting the stress on the fasteners. All right, on the back side of the pool, got these ends put up. Got some notched for tomorrow. Here's the back side done. This one here is going to run right into the porch. That's going to come into here. That one is going to go into there. I'm going to run a 2x8 along here and actually into that way far one down there. See you tomorrow. Well, we got us a short day because we got grandbabies playing ball this afternoon. So let me show you what we got done. We started the day running this fence underneath. Now, it hasn't been trimmed yet, but it will be tacked underneath that end joist there. So we won't have to worry about the dogs getting out. But for now, it's just all the way up. So we got a joist here on the edge of the porch, and it ties in to this end one here. And so now this area is ready for hangers and 2x6s. We got this piece in here. Now it is shorter Because our plan is to bring 2x6s off of this end joist here and come across, and they're actually going to sit on that one so we can form them closer to the shape of the pool wall. And that'll give support to the deck boards that are going to be out there. Tomorrow we will put the rest of the 2x8 against that piece of porch down there, and then we will start the connectors from here, from that one over, and from the end over, so we can lay down 2x6s here. That way when the deck boards run, they run this way. So on the back side here, we've got 2x8 ran from here all the way to the end. This will get a joist in between, and then in between the next two. And that way 2x6s can run here, 2x6s in that area, and 2x6s down there. So here's the other end on the skimmer and return side. So now is when I have to start planning where I'm going to put the pump and the sand filter. And this here is about 25 inches off the ground. So if I make a trap door in this area, it could get lifted up. The deck boards could get lifted up, and you could adjust the top of the sand filter. And that way they can sit here close to the edge. If it's running, you don't hear it on the porch because it's kind of blocked by the body of the pool. Now that skimmer basket being, it's about 6 feet away, 6.5 feet, and putting the pump here, the sand filter will work because we're running these joists on 16s. So that'll leave this area here open. And so that trap door, whichever way I decide for it to open, will be here. The salt cell will be here, and the control panel, which may go there, may go here, for the salt cell. So this will be the area where all that goes. And then you got the actual filter for the water coming in the house here. So this whole area with the mechanical side. So that is gonna do it for today. We're gonna hit the road, grabbing up some tools, putting them away, just in case it rains. Goodbye. All right, we got our hanger brackets in. Started laying joists in. Got hangers back on that back side. So we'll be laying in back there shortly. All right, here we go on the back side of the pool. Let's see how I can get those to go just around the corner. These to the edge of the pool, and then these to come out to get something to screw onto. And that is all helped by this 2x8 that runs support underneath. So we got to do 3 sections. Joist in here, some over in that pocket. And I gotta frame this out here, make sure it doesn't hit there, and I can get to those fittings. Now here's the view from their back porch. Well, it's time for the pump to get a form put down, some cement, so I can get it in place with the salt cell. This water's been in here for 2 weeks, and it's getting a little tinge of color on the bottom. So it's time to get everything working. All right, I got poured in. I'm gonna do a dry pour on this. I gotta get that leveled out. start with the water. All right, there is the ugly little slab. Now I've got the drains for the pump and the sand filter facing out so they're easier to get to. And opening this up to clean that filter. And there'll be a trap door from above to rotate the handle. So now it's time to start plumbing it over to there. The skimmer is going to come to the front. This is going to go up to here. This one is going to loop back around, and the salt cell and the flow switch will be on it, and then it'll go right back over to that one. All right, it's been a few hours. Got it plumbed in. There's the valve with the union, love those. That way I got to pull that pump out of there. Runs up to the skimmer, then there's the return, runs over here. There's another valve, that way we can isolate this whole pump system. Flow switch is here, salt cell, got some support under it. And that's the waste. That's where the pump the filter discharges. That's where the pump sends it into the filter. Big old pot of broth here. And how fast will it melt? Come on.
Brett?
Sprayer's under. Spider's nervous. And it is just about to spill inside the skimmer.
Teenagers hang out and all that. And on down the river a little bit, there was these cables that went across the river. And there was one strand on the bottom. And
all right, so here's where I got the control panel until I get a permanent place. So it was giving me error codes, and all I did was plug it in. But this is what the error code was. That little jumper, which is right inside of here. This thing was wired for 230, and they had an extra jumper right there, and I had to jump it out like this. And once I did that and cut it on, now it's showing me 3,700 salt level, and it is super chlorinating, and salt is at the middle level. All right, there's a little bit of salt left to be melted. The water is up almost, I guess about an inch from the top. So see, it's kind of got a brown tinge to the bottom. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so if it is, I won't be here to check it out. So there was a chance of rain yesterday, so we didn't come over, and it didn't rain at all, but we got a few things done, and now the rain's here. But you can see the pool has cleared up. Well, actually, let me show you through the sunglasses. You can see that dark spot right there in the bottom. That is the silt it's collected from being over here, all the dust. But that brown that was all down there, it's just about gone. We've got some joist going back here. Running the 2x8s. We have several left, and all the 2x6s are going to go over beside the house between the screen and the very edge. So back here is kind of being overbuilt, but that'll be okay. Yep. We're calling it a day. All right, got these joists ran in the back, ran in the middle, and I can't remember if we were on the end yet or not. Now we got to get right back over there in that corner, work on that. Once we get the regular parts done, then we can get into something like this here. Start filling that in. The ladder is going to be here, and the little jump off for the little kids is going to be right above the skimmer. There's going to be a platform built. And that way, you know, kids are in and out. So they'll climb up the ladder and get out and go right over, jump back in. And that way it keeps all the splashing in one area. Well, rain ran us in just as we put the last joist over here on the side. This little section's 4 foot wide. We got the one cut to go there. This section laying right here. So that might get put in tomorrow. And after that, we'll finish up that little corner piece over there. And then tighten this up. And it'll be time for deck boards. All right, got this tiny little section here filled in with those 55-degree angles. Not fun. So the rain finally let up right before we were able to get these edges done.
My Call of Duty account, so the Army doesn't
Board
see my
one.
potential, and I hope it.
Well, we got rained out again. But here is, we got a little extra put down. Fill in some spots, and then we can start going this way. Probably this way first, because I got to build the platform for the ladder right there. And then for the kids to jump here. So we're gonna get this back skin first. And then we'll go around that way, and then we'll pull out this handrail here. So I had to put in this piece here, and I had to find the curve of the pool. And I remembered seeing something where somebody used a washer, which is way bigger, and held the pencil in there, and it drew a line. So I tried it and cut it out, and it actually gave me exactly what I wanted. So I thought, that's great. Well, then we're getting over here. And this piece right here took a few cuts because you got the post there, and then you got the pool wall, and so I knew it might. But then it was time for this one. And so I measured back, and this line here is where the 5 5/8, which is the width of this board, was that far off. And so, and I knew where the corner was here. And so I marked those two, and then I thought, let me grab that piece of this that I cut, because that is the curve of the pool. And so, using this as reference, I put it on the corner and down on the 11-inch mark, which is how far down that was. Marked it, cut it. And that's what I got. And I ain't had to do this around the pool before, but I just wanted to share it. All right, got the side of the porch done. Went on over, that's 5, 6 rows. Well, finally got me a cutting area up top. Got around the pool edge. It's taken a little finesse, but it's going pretty good. So tomorrow we'll get this covered up as well. And then I can start building the tower, the jump tower, and then where the stairs are gonna get hooked up. All right, hadn't had any rain in a few days, so we've had some progress. Got this thing sent all the way around. Sunk the stairs in yesterday. Don't have any step ups yet, but got a little something so they can get in and out. And then today, we started right there. Brought this all the way around on the curve of the pool. And there's going to be handrail here, handrail here. Once we start running handrail, after that's done, there's going to be a bar right here. That's going to be kind of cool. I think they're going to run string lights on the top of these posts. And they may run something to let those vines grow up on, because those are scuppernong. So that'll give a kind of a blind to pile of trash there, and it'll bring it on up. And next week we'll staple this wire to the bottom of the deck. Keep the dogs in and not jumping off. Well, got the edges capped in today. Still need a little piece there. I got that put in. That's a salt cell brain. And I'm in the process of building the steps and the little jump platform for the little churn. I gotta be able to cut that out to get that skimmer lid off. Work on that some tomorrow. So all the edges have been done. So tomorrow we'll finish up the steps and then we'll go into putting up rail. So rails and balusters are going up today. You can see Amy here is setting out a grid of every 4 inches is a baluster. Once you get all that set up, also the ends, you gotta accommodate for 2 by 4 on each end. And once you do that, you run these little plastic pieces in here. It's got a screw. Put it in all your cross points. Once you do that, then you set up. We're using these underneath, and then using this here as an upright spacer. And I'll show you the finished one here. So we have them underneath. Here's the spacer. This is 26 1/8, which is what the balusters are, plus those little caps on each end, and then they're sandwiched together. Hey, look, I got some screws in this without trying to cut my hand off. So, still got to cut that out, but I just got some support in here now. So, here we are. We've got rail and balusters. And got this little wall where the floats are gonna go. Floats can go on the wall back there. Hang stuff up. We put some of these lights out here. So we need a few more strands. It's coming together. Keep working on some more rails and balusters tomorrow. But I like how this went. Yeah, and these balusters came off of Amazon. Real easy to put together. All right, we got these put up today. Hinges down here. I gotta loosen that and see if it'll relax some. Hinges on the back. You can just get lifted up, drop down. Let's go over there. No, I forgot about this. I've got the top screwed down. It hinges here, so there's a whole bunch of little holes, but it was a high spot. I'm actually going to have to grind that down with the flat disc so the back side sits flush. See, it's sitting up a little now. And now tomorrow I'll encase all of that so you can't see in there. Got these put in today as well. So now there's a little gap, so you can't really fall off here. And these are a different height. So maybe after this weekend, those will get switched out to those. They were definitely being switched, but I don't know how soon. So now that we're at the end of it, that is all the lumber I have left. Now over there is a picnic table that came with it because we spent over a certain amount at Owens Supply where we got the wood. So that's going to get put together and either set in this corner or under that tree for use, or maybe here. But here is what we've built in result. So we knocked out this rail here, and we got handrail and balusters. And you can see that the pool is about 14 inches above the deck. So if you wanted to jump right in off the side, you could. Now, afterwards, we talked about this here being storage for floats and all kind of stuff there. So this added on about 13 feet, and it's almost 5 feet wide. So nice little storage area. And this actually changed after the fact. Instead of going handrail and balusters, I just had to go with this wall here of deck board. And so that would kind of cut down on the air conditioner outside unit that's sitting there. So that kind of knocks that sound down. And so it's multi-purpose. So as we come on around, they've just been getting chairs and these rugs. They've been so excited, and even got more lights that we hung today. So now we're back over here, and I showed you the trap door a little bit ago. And here's the steps, kind of moved those out a bit. And I closed in the fronts there and took the hinges off of this. So I repurposed the hinge sideways, so it kind of made that a little more rigid. So there we go. Future plans we got is for a bar to go here, but that might be a July build. sit out here and relax and enjoy a cold one on this deck, sitting by this pool. And I can't wait to get in it. I'm not going to get in right now because the sun's going down. And, see, there's a little more shade than I'm comfortable with, and in my younger days, I'd have been in it, but ain't worth it now. Ain't worth the chill. So I'll wait till midday when it's in the 90s. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate Joey for the opportunity, and I especially appreciate Amy for helping me do this, and Riker and Hayden for coming along and taking care of it too.